Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Same Beyond and Through with Monty. Well, I guess I can title this particular episode Blame It on Lizzo. See, because Miss Lizzo here has done something that is not a benefit to her nor other black women. And Miss Lizzo here should have been acutely aware of the reputation, of the dating habits, and breeding habits of this particular individual. Miss Lizzo has, unfortunately, maybe, could be, have resurrected the career of a past male model. In case you're wondering who I'm referring to, have a look here. None other than Tyson Beckford. See, Tyson Beckford was a supermodel model back in the day. And that particular day and times would have been the 80s. Their whole Tommy Hilfiger thing, the whole thing with baby fat Kamora Simmons way back then, when Foxy Brown and Lil' Kim were preeminent female rappers, he would have been big back there during that particular time. But here's the problematic thing of Lizzo bringing someone like this to the forefront again. She should have looked into and maybe researched Tyson Beckford a little more carefully, because had she would have easily found out that Mr. Beckford does not like women like her. He would never have chosen to bring someone back, a black female back, and to a current project in which he was doing. Mr. Beckford prefers the Caucasian persuasion. Now, there's nothing wrong in that, per se. As long as he's not putting black women down or black people down, he's allowed to have his preference. However, I don't really understand as to why someone like Lizzo would want to promote someone and bring him to the forefront for a new video in which she is doing To Be Loved. I'm ready? You're bringing someone like him back again? We got to start thinking about certain people's actions from the past when we choose to interact with them today. Because this is a man, obviously, who has a preference that is as far away from Lizzo as one can possibly get. And with this preference like this here, him, like so many other black men who want to go with white women, he seems to like biracial children and coveted and wanted a child who was biracial. A child basically who looked nothing like Tyson did when Tyson was a child. Also, too, I have some issues and take issues with black people who are claiming to be mixed or biracial when they are really not. Does Tyson look mixed here or biracial to you? This is someone who went around claiming as recently as a year ago, because I did a video on it, that he has, what is that, Chinese, Panamanian, Swedish, Norwegian, German, blah, 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 blah in him? Is it just so difficult and hard for one to just say that I'm black? Many of those mixtures that he's talking about and referring to happen to be something that happened decades ago. And as I pointed out in the video with him and about him, that it wasn't anything that was consensual many times. It wasn't anything that was agreed upon. It wasn't anything that was a mutual understanding between two parties. Many times you had a full-grown adult taking advantage of a girl who was 14, 15, and 16 years old. Now, right here is a picture of Broderick Hunter. Broderick Hunter was a male model who was more famous in the 90s. And I picture Broderick Hunter here on this particular video because he would have been a better choice than Tyson Beckford, seeing that he does love black women, has dated black women, and has professed that he prefers black women. Why would that, when you have someone like this, and in my opinion, who's much better looking than Tyson is? That's not a dig. I just think he is. Why would you choose someone like Tyson Beckford, who really does not find anyone like Lizzo to be his type? Probably does not find her to be attractive. He wouldn't date Lizzo. Maybe Broderick could. A lot of black men who are into black women are more forgiving of weight issues. So she probably has a better chance with someone like Broderick as opposed to Tyson. The black men like Tyson who are into white women tend to be in those skinny white women, the type that you see in porn movies. Just a generic type. But saying all this to say this. Okay, so here's the problem with Lizzo. Bringing Tyson Beckford into a video in which she is doing. She is a well-known superstar in this day and age. Some would say A-list. She has 12 million followers on Instagram. And he has fallen off significantly. So basically, she's bringing him to the forefront, introducing him to a whole new audience. But he would never do that for her. If he was in his heyday and had a chance to put someone like Lizzo into an ad campaign, I seriously doubt if he would do that, if he would have done that. We have to be very careful about who we choose to promote, who we choose to help out, who we choose to bring to the forefront, who we choose to renew again. And we have to make sure that it would be reciprocal. This is a man who does not prefer Lizzo. This is a man who does not prefer black women. This is a man, like so many who get into biracial unions, would prefer to have biracial children. I don't see any allegiance that he has towards the black community, except in a situation like this, where he has an allegiance to appear in a video by a female who's popping this day and age, who many people are talking about, many people recognize. She's popular. He's not. She's in a heyday. He had his heyday. Many times you'll see these men who are not popular in this particular day and age. This is the only time when they like black women, is when they can get something from them, some type of fame. Wow, if you could put them in a video, put them on a record, a song, put them in a movie, they like you then. Other than that, they don't want anything to do with you. And I just wish that she would have done her research more. I really wish that her team would have looked at this man's past dating record, who he's dated, who he chose to have children with, and then they would have seen a disconnect that he has towards the black community. Someone who chooses or prefers others, no, their allegiance is not to the black community. Their allegiance is to their others. And I've done a video about him making a claim about being biracial, as I said it before. That's another thing too. Someone, that just shows me that they're not really proud to be black, that they have not really accepted the fact that they are black, that they're somehow thinking that by them being mixed, it makes them special, it makes them more, it makes them different in a good type of a way, or brings something extra to them. I just think that black women like Lizzo needs to be very careful in who they are promoting, who they are helping out, who they are choosing to choose as their leading man, whether it be in a video, whether it be in a movie. Men like this would never choose someone like Lizzo. They would never choose even another black female. That's not their preference. If he's not your preference, why should you prefer to put him in a video? Doesn't make any sense right then and there. You can't scream and holler one thing about someone not you not being their preference, but yet his dating history is all over the internet. Who he chose to have children with is all over the internet. His biracial child is on the internet. It's there for you to see. And then when he walks out there in a premiere with a white female, you feel some type of a way. All because you did not do your research. Or maybe because he's someone you had a crush on. And you're somehow thinking that, well, I'm different, I'm special. No, to him, you're like any other black female. And that's not his type. And let me say one thing. I think that him having a certain white type or a certain type that's not black is not necessarily an evil thing. However, it does show that his allegiance is not to the black community. That he's not in full balance, or let's say fully grounded into being a black male. So therefore, there's not much that someone like him or people who prefer others can do for the black community. And people like Lizzo needs to realize that and understand that. There are so many other black men who do prefer black women who she could have chose, but she chose him of all people. So we could just look at this and let this be a learning lesson. Just do your homework, do your research, look before you jump. Look before you film. Look before you even offer to help someone out. Because if you don't, you could be doing yourself and the black community a big disservice. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty, and I'll see you all beyond and through.